Leicester Till I Die TV. Watch and subscribe on YouTube and listen on your podcast platform.
Oh, Matt Elliott here.
Hi, Alan Smith here.
Hey guys, Ian Hume here.
Hi everybody, Jerry Taggart here.
Be sure to watch
Chris and Leicester Till I Die TV
for all the latest Leicester City news and information.
You can also subscribe on YouTube and various social media channels.
for the latest updates and news on Leicester City Football Club.
Come on, you foxes!
Back of the net.
It didn't happen in 49, 61, 63 or 69 when they reached the final. But the class of 2021 have delivered. Leicester City are FA Cup winners at last and are history makers at Wembley.
A modern day football miracle. They have blown their rivals away. They have blown us all away in truth. Premier League champions 2016. The amazing Leicester City.
Leicester Till I Die TV. Your first choice for everything Leicester City. Tune in and join in now.
And now, here's your host.
Right, Chris.
All right there. Good evening. How the devil are we all? Welcome along to Leicester Till I Die TV. This is the weekly football review show. Me and Louise will be looking back at all last week's football action, and there's a bit to get through with playoffs and cup finals, etc. Yeah, we're no longer FA Cup holders. It was nice while it lasted, wasn't it? Hey, please do what it says down there. If you're watching on YouTube, which is Leicester Till I Die TV, which is where you can find us. If you haven't yet, please remember to subscribe to the channel. Also, smash those likes and set the notification bells, because it is the end of the season next week, and we're doing a lot of specials the week after, so you don't want to miss any of those at all. And if you're on TikTok, LTD TV, that's where you can find us on there for little snippets when things go not necessarily to plan on these shows. And believe you me, that's more often than not. And if you're listening on your favourite podcast platform, whichever one that may be, thank you very much indeed. It is really, really much appreciated. All our main shows are uploaded onto the podcast platforms, and saying not just the big ones, but they're available on all the major platforms. I think we should have a bit of this today.
It's time for the Daily Leicester.
Leicester City FC on this day in history with Leicester Till I Die TV.
I'll do this now because Louise is way too young to remember this. Unfortunately, I do. This day in 1977, I was just well, not this day, but in 1977, I was just leaving what they would then called senior school. Oh, God. Those were the days, my friend, as somebody once sang. Anyway, this day, 1977, Leicester City were beaten 1-0 at home by Leeds United in what was Division 1, and it proved to be Jimmy Bloomfield's final match in charge. Remember that? He had a very good team then, and the fans sort of kind of didn't like him at that particular point, and they wanted him out. We got rid of him. We got Frank McClintock in. And it all went wrong. And that's why they always say, be careful what you wish for. And this is, of course, Leicester Till I Die TV. Thanks for watching. We'll get Louise in straight after this. You were but the... Oh, she's on her side. There we go.
No, sorry, I dropped my phone.
That's okay. I'm thinking I'm going to have to do the whole show like this. Oh, that hurt my neck. That hurt me. You see, I'm old, you see. Not like you spring chickens out there. I remember the Jimmy... Well, I mean, you're not old enough. You're not as old as me anyway. Let me put it that way.
No,
but
I don't remember 77. I wasn't born then, but no.
I was going to say. I
wasn't born till 84, so.
Well, you compared to me, mind you, compared to me, everybody's young. That's the way I look at it now. But this is what we always say: be careful what you wish for with new managers, because you probably heard, and I say you weren't around, but Jimmy Bloomfield, we had the Alan Birchnells, the Frank Worthingtons, the Keith Weller. We never actually won anything, but it was a great time. We just played such nice football, and we got to a semi and everything. But the fans weren't happy. They got rid of Jimmy Bloomfield. We got Frank McClintock in and got relegated the next season. Not unlike Peter Taylor, really, but there we go. But anyway, Premier League, and we're going to be finding out by the end of next week who will be joining us. I mean, we've had the first round of playoff matches. Luton are playing Huddersfield tonight. They're at 1-1 from the first leg, and Sheffield United obviously lost to Forest at home 2-1. Who would you like to see come up out of the four? I mean, are you I would like Forest to come up because it's a local derby, or I don't know, a lot of people.
I am.
Are you? Right?
I am, yeah. Because it's always been difficult for Leicester because we don't really have rivalry. Forest rivalry isn't really with us, it's with Derby, but at the same time, I have a lot of family members that are Forest fans and a lot of friends that are Forest fans. So, it just adds something to it. 2 games a season at least. And it's, a quick and easy away game.
This is true. I thought you were going to say a quick and easy 6 points then. I was going to say, please don't say that, not after what happened earlier in the season. I guess because it isn't like a really fierce rivalry. I think sometimes it's more, I mean, to me, it was always Coventry because they were the nearest team to us. But and even that was never really kind of, we've got no other team, have we, in our county? And this is the thing, we're a single club county. So that's why, and I say they did beat us, and that kind of still hurts. But my therapist tells me it's good to talk about it. So.
Well, again, it's very different. And I think any of those teams come up, they're going to struggle. They're going to struggle.
Yes.
But in that 3 that come up, there is always the one that kind of managed to stay up. Obviously, this time it's Brentford.
Yes.
So who knows? And that's what these clubs have got to remember. Get into the Premier League and worry about staying in it after that. You can't plan for the Premier League until you're there. So
yes, yeah, definitely. And I mean, like you say, it was Brentford this year, Leeds the year before that, Sheffield United, in fairness, the year before that. All doing better than the actually main 2 teams that get promoted, who are usually, let's be honest with you, Watford and Norwich, and they usually go straight back down. But
and again, it's difficult because they second season syndrome is a thing. It happened to Sheffield United. It looks like it could happen to Leeds this time, and who's to say it won't happen to Brentford next season? But even if you can give your fans just one real good season in the Premier League, that's something for them to treasure forever for some of those clubs. I mean, Forest obviously have been there, as of Huddersfield, Luton and who was the other one? Sorry, Luton and
Huddersfield
and Forest and Sheffield United. So
Luton
are the only ones that haven't been in the Premier League then.
Yes.
So maybe it'd be nice, for them to come up and have a chance at it.
Yeah. I mean, that's the way I look at it. I mean, I'm doing a relegation special tomorrow, as it happens, actually, 7:00 on this channel. I've got an Everton, a Leeds, and a Burnley fan coming on, and we're going to be talking about who's going to go down because it is going to go literally to the wire. But you've got 3 biggish clubs there that have had success in the past. Luton, never really, but I'd love to see. I'd love to see that. A smaller, like Brentford this season, I love to see the smaller teams come up and give it a go.
Yeah, for sure. And, even if it doesn't work out, they've had that chance, the fans have seen them play against the likes of Chelsea, Man City, Man United. Do you know what I mean? Like, I've not obviously not been in that position, but to never have seen that, like, that's got to be a huge thing, even if it doesn't work out for you. And who's to say it won't?
No, definitely.
Who's to say it won't, work out? But
when we came up with Jock Wallace, as much as it was, great being up, and we only stayed up the one season, but it was the players that we got to see.
Yeah.
The Kevin Keegan and other. I mean, it was just like, wow. And this is what annoys me with things like UEFA and the European Super League. Football is about dreaming. As a club, we know that better than anybody. You've got that dream that one day your club, Bournemouth, like I say, when I came down here 10 years ago, were collecting money in buckets outside the Pavilion Theatre to keep the club going. They could dream about being in the Premier League, and obviously, eventually it happened. And, UEFA, the change in the rules with the Champions League, and they're getting this conference that we were in. The Conference League is supposed to go once those changes come in, and Man United and not Man United, Arsenal, Tottenham, any of them could finish 10th and still qualify for Europe.
Yeah, it's just not fair, because from a team that hasn't got the history, how are you supposed to get it? How are you supposed to get history if you're not allowed to get history? Totally. It's just so elitist. It's so wrong, and it is going to bite them on the ass, because clubs will just not spend money. That's all they'll do.
Yeah.
And then they'll only compete in their own leagues. And then what? You're going to be happy if you're a Man City fan and a Liverpool fan, and everyone else is going to be miserable.
Yeah. And even though I think, even if you are a Man City, Liverpool, Chelsea, Man United, one of those fans, going away on away day to Newcastle or some, or Villa or Leicester, wherever, it's a little bit cheaper than having to fly over to Barcelona every other weekend, or Milan.
None of the fans wanted it, did they? When the Super League was going to be happening, none of the Liverpool fans wanted it. None of the Man United fans wanted it. None of the Man City fans wanted it. So even clubs that benefit from it don't want it.
No,
the fans don't want it. So.
But then again, I suppose, when does fans matter? You know what I mean? That's the thing. But I'm going to say good luck to Luton, and I wish Luton Huddersfield was the final next weekend, because I like both of those teams. They were my two that I would like to come up. But hopefully, I say good luck to both of them. And for me, like I say, I know what you're saying about Notts Forest, but I just hope they don't. I really hope they don't. We'd never hear the end of it. They would definitely be the back where we belong brigade, wouldn't they? Which, in fairness, Leeds haven't been. I've got to be totally honest with you. Leeds haven't been like that. But anyway, we'll see.
Leeds haven't been. We deserve to be here. They've been more. Everyone's against us. Nobody likes us. Rather than we deserve to be here, which is equally annoying, because it's equally not true.
I like Leeds. I won't be honest with you.
I haven't got an opinion on them, to be honest.
We will come on to obviously the league games in a second. But did you watch the FA Cup final?
I most certainly did. The most entertaining 0-0 I've ever seen.
In fairness, I was going to say exactly the same. It was, wasn't it? From a neutral's point of view,
really good game.
It was. And I mean, I kind of want to feel sorry for Chelsea, but I can't. They've been there 3 times. They've lost 3 times. I mean, that's a better record than Leicester had. We lost it 4 times. It wasn't consecutively.
Yeah, I did feel sorry for Chelsea, and not because they lost, but how they lost. Because I feel sorry for anybody who loses on penalties. It is an awful way to lose. And they had chances in the game. It wasn't like, they were hanging on and Liverpool were threatening, all the game. That's not how it went. Both teams could have won in normal time. Both could have won comfortably in normal time. Had, the chances that were created gone in. But that's football sometimes. It just doesn't quite happen. And that's all it went. And the thing about penalties is someone has to miss. And that person must feel awful for a few days afterwards. But Mason Mount should not feel bad because he played brilliantly in the game. So
I don't think you can ever blame anybody for going out on penalties. It's not an ideal way because, like I say, it's down to one person. But at least if you do miss a penalty, hopefully your mates are going to maybe try and help bail you out. But if you're into that last 5 minutes of extra time and you make the slip, or it touches your hand for a penalty or whatever, to me that could be worse. But no, it's like I say, in a way I feel sorry for them, but in a way I'm thinking like, oh yes, it's worse than our record, so that's quite good.
They've got to kind of look at it as well, because they've got to the final relatively easily each time. And okay, on Saturday they probably weren't the favourites. Liverpool were probably favourites to win. But against us, they were favourites and they didn't win.
No.
You got to start looking at it, what's going on. 3 in a row is a lot. But they could quite easily go and win, the FA Cup.
Last season they lost the FA Cup and went on to win the Champions League, didn't they?
Yeah, that's not feel so sorry for it,
No, that wasn't a bad compensation, was it?
No.
And then, these teams had met earlier, and obviously in the Carabao Cup. And I must admit, I can't stand that Chelsea goalkeeper, Kepa, whatever he's called. I've not liked him since that time he refused to go off the pitch when Sarri was trying to substitute him. And of course, he missed the penalty in that one. So I was praying that this also went down to the goalies.
Yeah.
Having said that, he wasn't on the pitch, so he probably actually couldn't have taken a penalty, could he?
No, he couldn't have taken a penalty.
No.
But it just, like I say, it is cruel. But at the same time, you can't just keep playing forever. And my dad always used to say to me, they should just play the extra time, but you have to take a player off every 10 minutes. You've got to take a player off. So at least then it's a tactical change. It's a tactical thing rather than somebody's fault.
Yes.
And he said, that's a lot kind of more fair. So do you take an attacker off? Do you take a defender off? Do you take your goalkeeper off and just hope that your players don't let it get near the goal? It's fairer than penalties, but it takes time. So
yes, yeah. I mean, there was always the golden goal, wasn't there? Where once you but then you could be playing for hours, couldn't you?
Yeah, exactly. And not just that, but that's unfair as well. Because you used to say if you hadn't carried on playing, the other team would have scored and made it level.
No, no.
So there's no the answer to it, I'm afraid.
It's the best of a bad lot of choices, really.
Yeah.
Evening to Jeff. Evening to Chris. Sorry, just changing your name there. This tune's going down well, I'll tell you. Welcome along, Chris. Hope you are well. Right, let's get into the meat of the show and let's have a look at the first game. Bit of controversy on this one. 1-0 to Tottenham in the 48 into 8 minutes of injury time at the end of the first half. I think it all kicked off at that one. But the sign of a good team is when you grind out results, whatever way they come, isn't it?
Yeah, that is the sign of a good team. And to be honest, I think it was a penalty. I do think it was a penalty. So, the timing of it, okay, yes, you're going to be a bit angry, but you're playing the game. Don't give a penalty away. That's your own fault for doing that.
Yes.
I just feel a bit like Burnley not using it as an excuse, but trying to make it sound better than it actually was. That you're the game's playing. And I thought Tottenham, from what I've seen, were the better side and deserved to win. So
it's going to go down very much. Well, it's the last week of the season. There's a few games midweek for some clubs, but it is going to go down to the last day. This will be our last show, by the way, doing this. So it just we're going to be obviously doing other things, as we know, but a few weeks ago, I said, "Oh, it's Arsenal's to lose." Now nobody seems to want that, do they? They seem to be sort of doing their best not to get fourth place, but it's Chelsea. Well, Tottenham have got it at the moment, but Arsenal obviously they're behind, or they're on 2 points behind. They have got a game in hand, so it's great for the neutral, isn't it?
Yeah, it's still in Arsenal's hands then, and again, like, I think the teams are quite evenly matched. I want Arsenal to get it. I don't want Tottenham to get it at all. I do not want them to be our representatives in the Champions League. But it's that flip, and again, it's Arsenal. What Arsenal's going to go and play, like what Arsenal's going to come out and play. I think they've got a really young squad at Arsenal, and that's where the inconsistencies are. Like, I've seen a lot of it. They win against these and then they lose against these. Well, they lost 2 games in a row. Yeah, because they're a young side. That's what tends to happen if you've got a young side. And then on the other side, obviously, you've got Kane and Son, who are basically saving Spurs. So, it's just going to be a close thing. But it is in Arsenal's hands. They win both their games, they'll qualify for it. So
what I love about this show is, like, you want Forest to come up, I don't. You want Arsenal to win it, I want Tottenham. It's great to have opposing thoughts. I don't know what I think. I just don't. I just get wound up so much by Arsenal fans and this thing that they have about who we are. But I suppose a lot of Tottenham fans.
It's not all of them, though. It's not all of them as well. It isn't all of them, but they don't help the situation for sure.
99% probably, but not all. I mean, the only good thing is, whether it's Tottenham or Arsenal, it's not Man United, and that's the great news. Chris, I love this, Chris. Absolutely agree. Love the golden goal. It was schoolyard rules. Last goal winner. Definitely. Can't come in yet for the game. Can't come in, teacher. Last goal wins. Oh, those are the days. Villa Palace. Jeff Schlupp here getting a point for Palace. Villa, I mean, they've got Burnley later this week. They looked good against Burnley. I mean, they've won 2 in 5. They've only lost 1 in 5. On the other hand, they're sitting there in 13th place. They've not had a bad season if you look at the fact that Gerrard's come in. And it always takes time for a new manager, as we've said often on here and many other shows, to settle in and get their thoughts and their players, because they've got want new players. And you've got to say, in essence, I think Gerrard's had a very, very decent season.
Yeah, and the thing about it is, it's like, again, it's consistency with Villa. On the day, they're a good side. But it's the consistency, and that's what he's got to concentrate on getting next season, obviously, to push them up that league, because that's not where they want to be. It's not where Gerrard definitely isn't going to want to be there. So they're going to want improvements. I don't know how much money there is at Villa. I don't know what the situation is with their owners and how wealthy they actually are. But if they spend a lot in the summer, then they've got, that he's going to expect that. Whatever promises he was made when he went there, he's going to expect them to be upheld. And as long as they are, he'll stay there, I think, for a substantial amount of time.
Yes,
and try and improve the team and the squad.
The thing, I mean, they've still obviously got a lot of the money from Grealish's sale. I don't think they've spent all that yet. I still sort of have to pinch myself, and I think £1 billion for a player. But I think he's going to do a good job. I've listened to the Villa owners on the radio, and they're very much, along with the same as the Newcastle owners, they're sensible. They're saying we are taking it baby steps, a step at the side, a step at a time. We're not going to be sort of saying we're going to be winning the league next season. And I always think that's a good sign, because it shows reality in the owners. And sometimes owners come in, as in Everton, and we'll come on to them obviously later, but sometimes these owners, they don't have a grasp of reality.
No, and that's it. And I've always said it. You can spend all the money you like, it guarantees you absolutely nothing. And only one team can win the league.
Yes.
Only 4 teams can get in the Champions League.
Yeah.
And it's so competitive, and that's part of the thing we love about the Premier League. But it's also the problem as an owner or as a club. Do you go and spend more than you should trying to chase, or do you just say, well, actually, we'll spend what we can afford, do the best that we can with that, and then, you know, you're not going to get in those top probably 5 or 6 maybe, but you're going to be just underneath that, or you're going to be in the top half, whatever it is.
Chris,
and that's how they have to manage it.
Yeah, no, that's true. Chris, I guess your mum's going to be biting her nails on Thursday then when Palace play Everton. And yeah, I mean, this is going to be the business. We're not, you know, the window's not even sort of open yet, but Coutinho for 14 million. Wow. I mean,
it's a big bargain. It's an absolute bargain.
Isn't it just? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. You know.
When you've sold Grealish for 100 and you're getting Coutinho for 14, that's crazy.
Do you ever wish, because obviously he was linked because of the Rodgers connection with Leicester every season. At least we don't have to put up with that anymore. Is there a bit of you that wishes maybe we'd got him?
Yeah, because you always want good players to come to your club, and Coutinho is definitely that. In fact, he's better than good. He's very good. It's not really the place I think we need to strengthen or we need to worry about. The midfield is pretty strong on its day when everyone's fit. But yeah, of course, I would have loved to have him. I would love to have Eriksen. I'd love to have them all, but we can't have them all because we can't afford them all.
This is true. This is true. Although, I mean, he has come out, Rodgers, and said he wants to buy 2 midfielders.
Oh, okay. Then yeah, maybe Coutinho would have been the deal. But I think once he'd already gone to Villa and he's got used to playing there under Gerrard, it's always going to be hard to take him away from that. I think they wanted to do it.
Option to buy. And
it needed to be when he first went, like before we went to Villa.
Yeah, and I also just think as well that he might have been you do have this kind of, even now, you know, we are buying better players than we used to be. We're not relying necessarily on frees, etc. But I just wonder whether it might have been too much for the changing room, if you know what I mean. He's like this big, I don't know if he is a big I am, but do you see what I'm getting at?
Yeah, but if the club's going to succeed and be successful, then that's what's going to have to happen.
Yes.
At some point, they're going to have that big player that comes, because that brings prestige, it brings money, it brings obviously a great player at your club. It doesn't always work out. Look at Ronaldo at United, but eventually that is going to happen, and they're going to have to pay more for players. They're going to have to. But again, like you say, it has to be slowly, because otherwise you're going to end up in financial trouble, and that's not what we want.
It is not at all. Not at all. I wouldn't mind that again, Chris. Brad, good evening to you. How the devil are you? A matter of opinion. Get over to if you're on YouTube, check out A Matter of Opinion website. It's a great podcast show that he does. Obviously, it's all about a matter of opinion. And this week's show is on wrestling, WWE. And my opinion is it's rubbish, but there we go. Yeah. Sorry, Brad. I can't resist it. Giant haystacks and Big Daddy. That's what we should have back. David, good afternoon. I think our matters would suffice over Coutinho. He strikes me as a little bit of a luxury player. Plus wages would have been an issue. And when you're only getting him for 14 million, but there we go. He's not coming now anyway. No. Leeds United. Oh my God! I mean, talk about excitement and dragging things out to the last day of the season. As a neutral, it's great, but they dropped right and down below us. This could have probably be the most important goal Leeds have got this season, but are they going to run out of players because they just seem to have them at least one a game being sent off?
Yeah, and that is not something that you can kind of get your head around. Like, you're in a relegation battle. Yes, obviously you want your players to play with passion and make tackles, but for the amount that they have had sent off, it's an issue, and it could be the issue that sends them down. At the end of the day, you want your best players on the pitch where they can actually affect the game. And if that's not happening, especially at this end, the end of the season where everything's on the line, you're going to have problems.
Yes. I mean, do you remember back when Newcastle came to play Leicester and John Carver was the manager, and he came out and accused one of his players of wanting to get sent off?
Yeah, I do remember that.
Yeah, it's almost like, and I'm not saying that we're doing this, it's almost like I don't want to be associated with this anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, neither of them are going to feature again now for the rest of the season, but I just wonder what goes through players' minds,
But I don't think it's really hard because tackles, they're not, I'm going to make this tackle to get sent off. No. I don't think it's that, but you saw it in the Everton game as well. It's stupid fouls. If you're, if the player's on the way to your goal, totally free, and you bring him down so he doesn't score, that's different to if he's going away from the goal and you bring him down and it's free kick.
Yeah,
those two things are different. If he just, there's no thought to anything, and I'm not sure what happened with the Leeds one. I didn't see it, but if they're having that as a reoccurring theme, something's going on there. I don't think players are trying to get sent off, though.
Yeah, I don't think either players. I do think they were sending off, from what I saw, sending off. Not one of those that you can say, well, VAR got it wrong or something. They were definitely there. But yeah, Leeds, I can say, holding on to, well, it might be too late by the time we get to depending what happens with Burnley and Everton midweek, but they're giving themselves a chance. Now probably the game of the weekend. Let's be honest with you. This was almost as big a shock as the United Kingdom nearly winning Eurovision. I don't know what actually was the biggest shock. Had there not been a public vote, we would have won Eurovision. But 5-1. I mean, Brad, who's in, we did the post-match show, and a lot of people say, well, it's only Bradford, they were down. But when you're actually confirmed to be relegated, that's when teams can be at their most dangerous because they're just playing. There's the pressure's off, exactly. I thought this was I thought we were 1-0 down. I mean, we did a bit of the watch along with this, but when we were 1-0 down, I thought, here we go. And I was a little bit annoyed, shall we say, a tad upset. And I think the Leicester of earlier in the season might well have not won this or even just got a draw. But it was good to see how we came back, and we didn't say, right, we're 2-1 up, we're just going to enjoy it now. We went for it.
Yeah, and that I think is something that has been shown under Rodgers, that they're not just happy with 2-1 or even 3-1 sometimes. They keep going for the game. Yes, it was only Watford, and yes, they're already relegated, and yes, they are a poor team. But you still have to go out and perform against that poor team. To score 5 goals, that should be celebrated. That doesn't happen every day for us. Just enjoy it.
No,
just enjoy it.
That's our biggest win of the season in the Premier League, and it was. And yes, but you can only play who's against you, and it happened to be this week Watford, and last week it was Norwich. But like I say, I think we have. I accept that earlier in the season, when I look at it, we probably wouldn't have got 3-0 and 5-1s against those two teams. Well, we didn't, did we? But now it did seem to click at last. Of course, Danny Ward was on for Schmeichel. Brendan's come out because there's rumours, and I don't know what it was. It was about a disciplinary thing for Kasper. I don't know whether you've heard anything, but no. I certainly can't find anything. And Brendan has come out and said that he had spoken to Kasper and said, once we're safe, it'll be you'll play 2 and Daniel played 2. I hadn't realised that he'd never actually played in the Premier League.
No, I didn't know that. I thought he must have done, but obviously not. And to be fair, did a decent enough job. I mean, obviously, again, the shooting of the opponents is not very good, but I thought he did okay. There was no problem with him playing. And to be honest, again, Casper's not going to last forever. We are going to have to decide what we're going to do, whether that's buy someone else, use Ward, or the other guy. Like, you've got to make that choice. And
yeah.
You know,
I mean, there's a lot of rumours linking Schmeichel with Newcastle.
Yeah.
And to be honest with you, I think if Schmeichel came in and said, look, guys, you know, they're offering me shed loads of money. I've loved my time here. We know, you know, the feelings he had for Vichai and Top and everything. And he said, look, you know, it's basically it's one last payday. I want to go. I wouldn't begrudge him the move. And I would be quite happy moving Ward up to that number 1 position and then Iverson up and to shadow Ward for a couple of seasons, because he struggled with the corner, but then so did Casper.
Yeah.
But he pulled off some good saves, and we've seen what he can do in the cup. He's a very good goalkeeper on his, you know, on his own standards.
Yeah, I really don't see him, Casper, leaving. I just don't see it. I think he's got. I think he will end his career at Leicester. But if he was to go, knowing that you've got Ward as the backup, and just like you say, you're not going to buy another goalkeeper. You have to buy. That will be a choice that, again, they'll have to make. But yeah, I wouldn't have a problem with him.
Again, you are much too young to remember this, because even I'm too young to remember it. We used to have, it's not often I can say that, I'm going to lie. But yeah, I mean, Brad's going to know what I'm going to say, because I've said this many times. You know, we had Gordon Banks, England goalkeeper, World Cup winner, and Peter Shilton was knocking on the gaffer's door going, yeah, I want my chance, what's happening? And they let Gordon Banks go. And you know, he went to Stoke, etc. And obviously, Peter Shilton, we all know what happened with Peter Shilton. Yeah. So, you know, sometimes, you know, if that decision has to be made, my worry is with Schmeichel is he's such a legend at Leicester, a bit like Jamie Vardy. And at what point as a manager do you actually say to somebody like that, come on, it's time, I'm going to play you less now. It's I've got to give this other fella a chance.
To me, that's what you do. You say, look, I want you here. I still think you're a good player. I still think you've got something to offer the club.
Yeah.
But I will be playing you less because this guy's just, you know, this guy deserves his chance or whatever it be. That is how you do it. And then it's up to Casper. Do you want to sit on the bench for a majority of the season and stay at Leicester, or do you want to go and find another club and play every game? That's his decision then. And I think that's what will happen. I don't think Rodgers is going to go to Schmeichel and say, yeah, you're on the transfer list, we want you gone. It will be that. It'll be, maybe I'm not going to play you every game.
Well, he's come out and said, if what he's saying to the papers is true, he's already come out and said that to Casper.
Yeah.
And I kind of think Casper's big enough to say, okay, I get it. You know, I don't think he's one that would sort of go off in a huff. But yeah, 2 points there, Brad.
Sorry, I do think as well that what Rodgers has said to Casper about him having 2 and then Ward having 2 is only till the end of the season.
Yeah,
I don't think he's doing that when the season starts. He will make a choice between the 2, and whoever he chooses will be our goalkeeper. Because I don't think you can do that in the Premier League, can you? You can't play 2 games with one goalkeeper and then 2 games with the other.
I'm not saying he's going to do that next season. No,
it will only be till the end of the season. Then that decision will get made in the summer.
Of course, yeah. No, I didn't mean change the goalkeeper every 2 weeks. I've said that we've been doing that with our defenders all season, haven't we? But you know, I'm just reading here. Rodgers said he felt it was important for the health of the group that Ward's patience and quality over the past 4 years was rewarded, and he was also due to play against Norwich in midweek. Schmeichel will come back in the final 2 games of the season against Chelsea and Southampton, though. He's dropping him in. You know, he's giving him a bit of, maybe Ward's come along and going, look, Gaffer, what's happening? You know.
That's the thing. It must be so hard being second choice, especially in that goalkeeper position, because it doesn't change.
No.
Strikers change, midfielders change, and even defenders change to a degree. Goalkeepers don't really. You know, you have a goalkeeper that you play. Yes, you have backup options in case of injuries, but they don't play that much. They'll play the odd cup game like Ward has done. And then that must be hard to train every week, every day, knowing you're not going to play. That must be horrible. It must be so hard.
Yeah.
So I won't blame Danny if he's gone. We're not going down. We're not getting into Europe now. Can I have some game time?
Yeah. Brad says there, Ward is his predecessor. Ward is now in prime position to take over the reins. Can't see Casper retiring here, but can see him playing for us maybe next 2 seasons, with Ward stepping up more in the second season. And as Chris says, I think he's just got to give Casper a break. And Casper's one of those, I think, that would say, like, I don't need a break, boss. I really don't need a break. And of course, let's not forget, we have got the amazing Jabokovic. Still, God knows what he's been. If Ward's been twiddling his thumbs, I think Jabokovic has been twiddling his thumbs, his toes, and anything else he can get hold of. But no, in fact, maybe I shouldn't have said it quite like that. Let's move on. Liverpool blinked midweek with the draw, and then Manchester City blinked and 2-0 down. They could have won this 3-2. How costly could be Riyad Mahrez's, and we know what he's like. He can miss his penalties sometimes. That again, it's opened it up, hasn't it? Because if Man City had won this, you'd have just given them the title.
Yeah, I think so. And again, yes, for the neutrals, it's great. As a Man City fan, you're not happy. You're not happy that they've not beat West Ham, but you're also not happy because it just leaves the door open. Like, you want it shut as soon as possible. I still think Man City will win. And for a penalty miss, you know what? The best players in the world have missed penalties.
Yeah.
It's not an exact science. Ronaldo has, Messi has, Shearer missed penalties. Even good penalty takers miss. They don't score every one they've ever taken. So, I don't think that, again, can be held against Mahrez. But it could be something that they look back on later thinking, if he had scored, we would have won it.
And that said, there's 4 points between, I forgot that I thought there was 3, but there's 4 points between Liverpool and Man City. Man City have only got the 1 game left. Liverpool are going to their feeder club, Southampton, midweek. So you're thinking, looking at the form of those two, that Liverpool should come away with the 3 points, which will mean it is all down to the last day. And I'm not sure who Liverpool have got on the last day, but in fact, let's have a look. Who have Liverpool got on the last day? They're home to Wolves, but Man City, they've got the 1 game left. They're at home to Aston Villa. So very evenly matched games there.
Yeah, that last day, I'd expect both of them to win. I mean, that doesn't mean they're going to, but I'd expect that to happen. So, I would expect them both to win on that last day. And it's still, to me, it's Man City's to lose. They've got that point advantage still, with 1 game to go for them. So,
No, like you say, Chris, I thought it was 3, but it was 4, like you say. And I don't necessarily think it's a miracle. I mean, if West Ham can hold Man City to a draw, maybe Aston Villa, with the way it's going, there's no reason why they can't get a draw at Man City. It's great. Exactly. It could go either way. It really could.
We just got to watch them wait.
Yeah, at least like I say, it's gone down to this last day, and it's not like like Spain or Scotland or somewhere, and it wasn't over in March, And Wolves, Wolves started off so well. I thought they're an outside bet for Europe with West Ham, to be honest with you. I didn't think that they would do well because they changed the manager. Nuno had left and Bruno's come in. And started really well, but they've kind of dropped off a little bit, haven't they? And they would have been Wolves would have been disappointed with this result.
Yes. Anyone going to Norwich or playing Norwich and not winning would have been disappointed, especially at home. But again, Wolves. I think what we do is we look at that table early on in the season, and we just assume that that's what it's going to stay like. And it doesn't. That's not how it usually happens. West Ham were top 14. Well, no, they're not. They never were. And people just get carried away with the hype of it all. But I don't think Wolves have had a bad season. It's just not been as good as it has been in previous ones.
That is true. That is true. I always think that Leicester have been that team that might just break into that top six. When it obviously wasn't going to be us this season, I was hoping that somebody else could do it, be that a West Ham or Wolves, Brighton, whoever. Because I think it's always nice to see, like you say, somebody just, saying to the big six, like, hey, we are still here, we are still here. Yeah. But, it's unfortunately... Well, they've all dropped off. I think West Ham are going to get Europe again, looking at the table, but as we will do in a minute. But I'm like I say, they're just falling off towards the end of the season. And Norwich, we know what they're like. And you know what, Chris, I would tell your mother-in-law, tell your mother, his mother-in-law, to look away now. They always say that on the telly, don't they? Everton 2. Brentford 3. You could also say that the score was Everton 9, Brentford 11, if we're counting players at the end of the pitch, are still on the pitch at the end of the game. This was a must-win for Everton. I don't know if you saw the game at all.
I did see. I think, the second half.
Right.
So I only saw the second sending off, which from Rondon was just ridiculously stupid. Like, he didn't need to do that. There was no threat to the goal. There was no threat to anything.
Yeah.
I have seen the first red though later on, and I think he's just a bit unlucky, to be honest. I think it's just a bit unlucky. But by the letter of the law, it is a red card. And he did so well to just stay in the game as well, that he could quite easily have capitulated after that red card, because it was always then an uphill battle. And again, you can argue, say it might have been different, but it's a home game, and if you're down there, you need to win your home games. But again, it's still in their hands, still in the driving seat to stay up. So that's all they need to worry about, obviously, this season. If they manage that, then go again next season. But they've got major problems there and they need to sort out. Otherwise, they will be here again next season.
Yeah. And like I say, tomorrow night at 7, we do have that relegation special. And the Everton representative, I've had him on the show a few times, Elton Wellesby, who used to present ITV's football coverage, the Jeff Stelling of his day, almost, if you like. And he doesn't hold back when it comes to talking about Everton and their owners. So we'll see. Though he did say, I don't know whether this is fair enough, but he said that they'll be the biggest club to go down. I
think Newcastle might have something to say about that.
I think they might do, to be honest with you, indeed. But I think it doesn't do clubs any harm. And I'm sorry, Lou and Chris, I know there's sort of the Everton connection there, but it doesn't do these clubs any harm sometimes just to go a step back and have a dose of reality.
Yeah, and again, Everton aren't going to be down there very long if they do go down, because they're going to have the money and the budget to get back up, and that essentially is what helps. Yeah. However, you have got to make sure that you come back up, otherwise you do end up in trouble, and you end up kind of getting in that Forest Leicester mould where it does take you 10 seasons to get back. Yes. FM fans will not allow that. They won't want that. No group of fans are going to want that. But yeah, I worry for Everton, because I think if they did go down, they've got issues that aren't about what's on the pitch. And that's the biggest thing. It's easy to fix the stuff on the pitch, and you're going down a division, so what you're playing on the pitch isn't, as good.
Yeah.
But if it's up above, that's a lot harder to sort out, and that's where Everton are where they are.
I think money has been thrown at the club to buy players, and I think they've had the old sort of alcoholic in the pub syndrome. Give me that, give me that, give me that, and they've not really put any thought into who they've been buying. I know Steve Walsh, not the player, the coach, went to Everton, and not the coach, but he was obviously did very, very well with us and our signings, but apparently Everton fans said, bloody hell, he used all his luck and his knowledge up on you guys. He had none left when he came to us.
And again, it's about him being able to go, this player's worth it. I think this player's worth it, and being backed. Because essentially the owners are the ones with the money. If they don't allow it or they don't want it, it can't happen. You know, if they're saying, well, we know best, we don't want that, we're going to buy this player. That's what's going to happen. That's not Steve Walsh's fault. And I'm not saying that is what's happening.
No.
But I wouldn't put it past these owners.
Yes, yeah. Chris says here, Bill and Ben, the flower pot men. I mean that you don't even know what I'm talking about, do you? Again, you're much too young. But Bill and Ben, the flower pot men, when us of an older generation were younger, that was as exciting as our kids' TV got. You know, they were the Teletubbies of their day. Bill would turn around to Ben and go, slobber, lobber, 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 lob. And Ben would say, shut up, you pissed. Anyway, Bill Kenwright needs to set record state with Missouri and stop autograph chasing. He does. Agreed. Spencer, he takes it a step further, does Spencer. Everton are rotten to the core from the top to the bottom. I think that's a bit unfair, to be honest with you. I think, you know, any club's got every club's got problems in different ways. You know, Man United have got the same problem. It's about getting the right owners. And I was watching a thing on YouTube the other day about Portsmouth Football Club and how they'd gone from winning the FA Cup to the fourth tier. And that was all after Mandrich sold the club to somebody that turned out not to be as honest. And I know things are checked differently now, but it just shows. And I was worried when Mandrich sold out to obviously King Power. I was thinking, like, who are these guys? What are they going to do? Is this another Gaydark, from Portsmouth? But I think right from the start, when King Power said to Mandrich, right, we want you to stop for 6 months and talk us through this and show us. And I just think it was, we've struck very, very lucky. And
1000%, yeah.
Yeah. And sometimes I think, Sheffield United, they always say that they're owned by a Saudi as well, and they always joke that we must get the one Saudi who's got no money. But it happens. But anyway, these are the midweek games and still to play this week. Newcastle are going to be kicking off against Everton in about 7 minutes' time. No, they're not. They're going to be kicking off against Arsenal in 7 minutes' time.
Yeah.
They can't play both of them, Newcastle. Arsenal, a must win for Arsenal. Would you agree? Yeah. They've got, if they want top four.
I think this point of the season, they're all must win for teams like Arsenal who have still got stuff to play for.
Yeah,
I think you can't pick and choose when you win.
And it's not going to be easy for them going to St James's Park. I mean, Eddie Howe's got a good team set up there now. They were they're safe in the centre of the table, and you wouldn't have thought that at the start of the season. And of course, it is, at home for Newcastle, and that crowd can make some noise. But then Tuesday, Liverpool, as they're travelling down to their feeder point, the feeder club. Sorry, you got to see Liverpool winning that. And then on Thursday, Everton Palace is a biggie. And Aston Villa Burnley is a biggie for both Everton and Burnley in the relegation zone. And then of course you've got, what happened last season? Chelsea lost an FA Cup final and hosted us a few days later. What's happening this season? Chelsea have lost an FA Cup final and hosting us a few days later. Is it? I can't. As much as I hate saying it, if you give me a point at this point, I'd take it.
Yeah, I mean, again, it doesn't really make any difference now whether we win or not. To me, they've got to put in a good performance. Put in a good performance and just play and hope we win.
Yeah.
Because I don't think it's not a disaster if we lose from now to the end of the season, but that's not why we want to end the season to start the next one. Like, to me now, it's all about next season.
Yes.
That start to next season is important because this season has gone wrong for the reasons we've already stated, but it has gone wrong. It's not where we want to be.
No.
We need to end the season strong And that isn't always in wins. That's to me is in performances, because Chelsea are obviously a very good side. But what will happen will happen.
Yeah,
but,
oh yes,
I just want to see him play well.
Definitely. And for me, like you say, winning it just, if you finish on a winning note, and let's not forget the Great Escape season. You know, the way we finished that season obviously helped going into the next season. And I know what Brendan has sort of said about playing some of the kids. I don't think he will do now, to be honest with you, because I think to play the kids against Chelsea could actually set them, if they got a stuffing, could set them back further than anything he might gain from it.
It also shows the mentality of the players and whether they're going to be able to make it in the game, because you're always going to get defeats, you're always going to get setbacks. You have to be able to overcome setbacks. So I don't know, maybe you will. I don't think I've got a full side of youngsters, but the other one.
I would have liked to see the odd one go out against Norwich and Watford, because I think they were, in fairness, no disrespect to them, they were the easiest games on paper, you would say, obviously.
Yeah.
So I would have maybe liked to seen a few youngsters be put in that. I mean, you've got, I suppose, Norwich. I don't know that both those games he could have done. I just think I would be happy. And I think this is maybe what Brenda's thinking. Let's try and finish in the top half of the table, because again, on that match of the day on Sunday night, when they put that table up and it flashes up the top half, and you're on that first graphic, it's so much better than being on the second graphic and below. So I think if we can finish in the top 10, 8th, 9th, 10th, and have got to a European semi-final, although be it not the one we wanted, I don't think we can complain too badly.
No, and again, it's context of the season as well, because the context of the season is injuries, and it's been the key word. And it literally was get a player back, lose one, get a player back, lose one, and that's not good for the team. They're not that team that has got that second team that can win every week. We're not Man City. No, we haven't got that money to do that. No. So. Yeah, just write this season off. I think if he does play the youngsters, I'm not going to be disappointed by it. No. But at the same time, like I said, there's not a lot to play for. So why not? If you've got youngsters that you think are on that cusp of maybe making the squad, why not play them? See what they can do. Like, now is the time, because when you start next season, you're not going to be wanting to take risks on people. You need to know what they can do. So now is the time.
I agree. I mean, I remember when Brendan joined us from Celtic, the fact that he came down with those 10 Premier League games still to go, or I think it was 10, however many it was, he would have learned more from watching those players in those last 10 proper Premier League games than he ever would from a few pre-season friendlies against Kettering and Burton or whatever, So we will see. In Brendan we trust. In Brendan we trust. Yeah, exactly. Louise, thank you so much. Like we said earlier, this is the last one. I'll let you go, and if you want to watch the Newcastle Arsenal,
I will
do. Thank you so much. We'll be doing this again next season. Hope to have you back then. And of course, next Monday we've got the Leicester Till I Die Awards. So I know you're still considering a few of those.
I am.
We'll see you on. We'll see you next Monday for that. Well, hopefully you've decided by then.
Yeah, I've decided.
Okay, I'll have. If you've got a choice of two, let me know, because I can have two graphics ready depending which way you go.
Okay, I will do.
Brilliant, Louise. As always, been great. Thanks for everything this season. I'll see you next Monday, and enjoy the game. Take care.
Thanks. Bye.
Thanks. Bye bye. Thanks to Louise there. She's been a great addition to the team. Absolutely amazing. Her knowledge. Really, really pleased to have her on. This has been Leicester Till I Die TV, and don't forget where you can find us.
Watch us on YouTube. Listen on your favorite podcast platform, or ask your smart speaker to play the podcast Leicester Till I Die.
Subscribe, like, follow, and join in now.
Broadcasting live worldwide.
We are indeed. Now then, what's coming up? I hear you say. What's coming up, Chris? There you go. I told you I heard it. 9 o'clock. Come back and see us. We're doing exactly the same as we've just been doing, but talking European football. La Liga, Bundesliga, League One, and Serie A. We'll be talking about that at 9 o'clock with Doug and Anthony. So that's always it. Again, this will be the last one of those. So join us for that at 9 o'clock. Tomorrow at 7. It's the football show, and it's a relegation special. We've got a Leeds fan coming on. We've got Dan, the Burnley fan, will be on with us as well. And we have a ex-ITV sports anchor, Elton Wellesby, who's a big Everton fan. Which one of those is going to go down? We know 2 are going down. Who's going to go with them? And then we've got the football and the last one of the predictions. At the moment, I think me and Brad are both joint top. I think we're on exactly the same. So a few games to go this week with results-wise, but it's tight. It's more who needs Man City and Liverpool when you got Brad and me fighting it out to see who's going to win the prediction show. Steve Linex, he'll be there as well. He's kind of making up the numbers, bless him. He's walking along. And then following that on what day are we doing this, I say? We are doing this on Wednesday at 7 o'clock. We've got a Chelsea preview. We've got a Chelsea fan, Ankit, joining us, and Craig, obviously, and we will be looking at our last away day of the season. And then coming up after all our last games, we've got Jerry Taggart. He's going to be coming along, and he will be talking about Leicester's season. And let's be honest with you, he knows what he's talking about. So that will be interesting to see his take on this season. It really will. And like I say, if you haven't already, thanks for watching. But please subscribe on YouTube. Subscribe to the channel. Click those likes for me as well, and press that notification bell, because we do so many shows, you don't want to miss them, especially next week, because we've got so many specials coming up. And we've got, hopefully as well, Rob Tanner from The Athletic, Leicester's representative at the Athletic magazine, will be coming on as well. And if you have been listening to us on Spotify, Anchor, Google, Amazon, Apple, whatever your favorite podcast platform is, if you've been listening to us, thank you so much. I do have a face for podcasts. I will see you back here at 9 o'clock. Thanks for everything. Thanks for watching. Thanks for all your support. Take care. See you in an hour.
Thanks for watching Leicester Till I Die. This is Chris saying goodbye, and see you next time.
Follow us on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram.
That's all, folks.
Some people are on the pitch, they think it's all over. It is now.